From federal courtroom drama to escalating global tensions, this is your deep dive into the stories shaping headlines around the world. Contempt charges, rare earth power plays, a new nuclear bomb, and life on a distant planet. Let's get into the news that matters. No visuals, no fluff. Just the facts that define our future. A federal judge has found probable cause to hold the Trump administration in criminal contempt, accusing it of violating a court order that blocked deportation flights under the Alien Enemies Act. The order, issued on March 15th, was meant to halt removals to El Salvador. But according to U.S. District Judge James Boasberg, deportation flights continued anyway. The judge called the government's actions a willful disregard of his ruling, and he didn't hold back in his criticism. One notable post from Secretary of State Marco Rubio quoted Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele's "oopsie, too late" message complete with a laughing emoji. Judge Boasberg wrote that such public boasting suggested the violation was both deliberate and gleeful. Although the Supreme Court later ruled that the original injunction was legally flawed, Boasberg said that didn't excuse what he called a blatant violation. The ruling opens the door for the administration to avoid penalties by proposing a remedy, such as bringing back those who were removed. At least 7 related legal challenges are now active across multiple states. In a statement, the White House doubled down on its immigration stance. A spokesperson said the president remains fully committed to keeping terrorists and criminal illegal migrants out of American communities. In a separate but equally high-stakes arena, China has announced export restrictions on 7 rare earth elements, essential to military and green energy technologies. The materials used in everything from fighter jets to EV motors now require special licenses from Beijing. This move coincides with a fresh wave of tariffs from President Trump, escalating tensions further. According to the Center for Strategic and International Studies, the U.S. is especially vulnerable. A new CSIS report says the country currently lacks the capacity to replace these imports and warns that the restrictions could widen the already troubling gap between American and Chinese military production. Although the Department of Defense has spent over $400 million since 2020 to boost domestic supply chains, U.S. output still falls far short. 16 American aerospace and defense firms have also been added to China's export control list, cutting them off from dual-use materials. In the UK, the Supreme Court has handed down a landmark decision on the legal definition of woman. The court ruled that, under the Equality Act, the term refers specifically to someone born biologically female. Justice Patrick Hodge said both woman and sex are defined by biological traits in the context of the law. The ruling nullifies previous Scottish guidance that allowed transgender women with legal recognition certificates to be counted as women under a 2018 gender balance law. While the court emphasized that transgender individuals are still protected from discrimination based on gender reassignment, it agreed with the Group for Women Scotland that the Scottish Parliament had exceeded its legal authority by altering the definition in public policy. Meanwhile, the United States blocked a G7 joint statement condemning Russia's missile strike on the Ukrainian city of Sumy, which left 35 dead and 119 wounded. Canada, which currently chairs the G7, said the statement was dropped because it lacked unanimous support specifically from the U.S. The move appears to be a calculated decision by the Trump administration to avoid jeopardizing ongoing peace talks. While European leaders labeled the attack a war crime, President Trump called it terrible, but suggested it may have been a mistake. Back in Washington, Elon Musk says the federal waste-cutting program, DOGE, is now forecasting $150 billion in savings for fiscal year 2026, far below its original projection of $2 trillion. Musk made the announcement during a recent cabinet meeting, noting the figure reflects reductions in fraud and unnecessary spending. But critics are raising questions about DOGE's credibility. The program has misreported figures in the past, including a case where an $8 million contract was mistakenly listed as $8 billion. One $1.9 billion cancellation credited to DOGE had actually occurred during the Biden administration. After scrutiny, the entry was removed, only to be later reinstated. Last month, DOGE deleted over 1,000 entries, slashing $4 billion from its reported savings. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is also under fresh scrutiny. She recently bought stock in several companies just days before Trump announced a partial rollback of tariffs trades that critics say were unusually well-timed. Her investments included Amazon, Dell, Lululemon, and RH, RH shares rebounded over 30%, while Dell jumped 9%. Green responded by saying her financial advisor has full control over her portfolio and all trades are disclosed transparently. In other domestic developments, the U.S. has officially fast-tracked production of its new B-6113 nuclear bomb. Originally set to begin in 2026, the first unit is now expected 7 months ahead of schedule. The B-6113 is part of a modernization effort announced in 2023. With a selectable yield of up to 360 kilotons, it's about 24 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Sandia National Laboratories, which is overseeing development, credited innovative program planning for the acceleration. The Justice Department is reviewing a federal criminal referral accusing New York Attorney General Letitia James of potential mortgage fraud. The referral claims James falsely listed a Virginia property as her primary residence in 2023 to qualify for better mortgage terms, even though New York law requires her to live in-state while serving as AG. The allegations mirror the type of fraud James accused Trump of in her civil case against him, which ended in a $454 million judgment. James's office issued a defiant statement accusing the administration of weaponizing the DOJ and insisting she won't be intimidated. Jewish organizations across the U.S. are speaking out against Trump's recent campus crackdown targeting foreign student activists. In a rare joint statement, 10 major Jewish groups, including the Union for Reform Judaism and the Rabbinical Assembly, warned that federal crackdowns under the guise of fighting anti-Semitism are eroding civil liberties and academic freedom. The administration has revoked student visas, detained activists, and frozen billions in university funding, including a $2 billion grant to Harvard. While groups like the Zionist Organization of America support the crackdown, critics argue it's making Jewish communities less safe, not more. In science news, astronomers have detected strong indicators of potential life on the exoplanet K2-18b. Described as a hasten world, the planet appears to host an ocean environment that may support life. Researchers caution that confirming extraterrestrial life is incredibly difficult, requiring massive effort and strong evidence. But the current data has generated significant excitement. The administration is also escalating its battle with Maine, as the Justice Department sues the state for refusing to bar transgender girls from competing in girls' sports. The DOJ argues that Maine's policies violate Title IX and is asking the courts to retroactively pull federal funding from the state. Attorney General Pam Bondi stated the department is committed to upholding the law and ensuring compliance across all states. And our final story, new reports suggest President Trump has halted an expected Israeli strike on Iran's nuclear sites, opting instead to pursue negotiations. According to sources cited by the New York Times, the decision marks a strategic shift toward diplomacy as the administration looks to curb Iran's nuclear ambitions without direct military conflict. That's all for tonight's news update. Thank you for joining us. We'll continue to monitor these stories and bring you the latest developments. Stay safe, stay informed, and have a good night. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update.